Don't worry about getting 10 sponsors. Go get one. I'd be doing TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Like those are the advertisers who will be potentially interested in what you're doing. My man, I love all of the black and white words everywhere. What do you got going on there?
Oh, it's just my mantras behind me. Decide, discover, deliver.
Nice.
So life in 3D, that's my mantra.
And what's on the shirt?
One speed, my speed. That's
one speed, my speed.
The only speed I work at, my speed.
I like it. And I like that book behind you there.
Hey, you know the author?
Yeah, I heard he's a pretty good guy.
Pretty decent, you know. Really good information.
Cool, man. Well, so what do you got? How can I help?
Very specifically, my goal is I spent a lot of time training throughout my whole life, throughout my whole career. I've been a trainer, and I specifically want to, yes. So developmental training through my career. I was either a trainer at a company or whatnot. And what I really found that I loved the most was working with high schoolers up to early college.
Ooh, okay.
So high schoolers to early college. I used to speak in schools on career development, how to find out what you want, how to decide what you want, how to discover who has it, and then how to deliver based on all that information.
3Ds,
so that's
the 3Ds?
That's 3D, life in 3D.
Yeah.
So my question is that if I were to focus on 3 specific areas of building content, I know all the different mindsets, and I know take a lot of action, and I know all of that. But if I were to focus on 3 specific areas to be able to reach as many in that demographic, what could I do via Instagram and via YouTube?
So I'll give you 3 ideas, okay? I would actually drop Instagram and I would replace it with TikTok. I'd be doing TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. TikTok, I'd be giving quick bits of wisdom around your 3Ds because that's your demo. That's where they are. They're on TikTok more than they're going to be on Instagram. Instagram is going to skew a little bit older, not necessarily who you want to talk to. It's not that they're not on Instagram, but TikTok is popping harder and it's easier for you to stand out there. Daily nuggets of wisdom. You got up to 1 minute max to make these. Have you played with TikTok at all?
No.
Okay. Not that different. You still press the button, record. There's a lot more options and fun things you can do with it. I don't need you doing dance challenges and that kind of stuff. But dropping nuggets. I would go look at different thought leaders and what they're doing on TikTok, and then you make your version of it. So daily wisdom around life in 3D for your 15 to 20. Is that your?
Yeah, pretty much just maybe junior, senior in high school, and then maybe freshman, sophomore in college.
Okay, so even early, like 14 to 19 kind of thing.
Yeah. Because I found that most of the time people that reach out to, even finding your content, they're already in a hole. They're already in a hole. They're trying to get themselves out. And the way that I was raised is with my father, I want to get them early. I want to get them before the storm comes to start building these mindsets and how to find out what you want and how to network and how to get the job that whether you're a veterinarian or if you want to work with, as an artist at Disney, whatever it may be, I want to help those be able, because I've been able to achieve everything that I've wanted to do based on those principles. So that's what I want to give back and help them.
Yeah. So definitely TikTok. So your daily nuggets, you on camera, you can add some fun effects and do you have any editing? You know how to edit stuff, right?
Yeah. I'm
okay. So like it's going to be simple. Yeah. It's going to be
video production company.
Yeah. So it's going to be even, I forgot, So that's easy for you. But TikTok has a lot of built-in editing features that you can do that for you, it will just save a lot of time. Maybe for you, you just know how to do it so quick because you're used to using the pro tools, but there's a lot of fun things you can do inside of TikTok. So daily quick videos dishing out wisdom, 15 to 60 seconds for your demo. 2, because you asked for 3. YouTube would be longer form, would be more storytelling. Coaching becomes a challenge if it's youth, but it's still, I don't know if there's any issues with somebody who's under 18 that you're giving advice to or not. But you can definitely do like university students, first people coming in, they're adults, they're 18 and they don't know what to do, don't know, like struggling in their first year of college, that kind of stuff. Longer form, 10 minutes plus, thought leadership content from you that's generic, that'll live for a long time. Like, how do I know what university to apply to? How do I know what to major in? Stuff that, like, the advice that you would give, keep it timeless so that's the same advice in 5 years.
That's easy. Yeah.
Yeah, most of it is timeless. So, like, you thinking YouTube is timeless and basic content.
Okay.
The questions that most people will care about. So not like, should I go to, University of Toronto or not? Like, it's too specific. Keep it broad and general for the YouTube audience. And my goal with you for both of those platforms is to start to attract your audience to learn about who you are. Like, they want them to know who Joshua is. YouTube, you can start actually getting paid for it too, because there's built-in ads inside of the platform once you start building an audience. The third tactic would be on LinkedIn, and you're not targeting the youth, you're targeting the companies. And why they need to be in the high schools and in the first year universities to connect with their audience. Because what I want them to do is to hire you to go into the schools and do a speaking tour and get paid for it by whoever. Nestle,
Right.
Coca-Cola, Tesla, like whoever cares about that audience. Tesla's maybe a little too young, but you're posting content on LinkedIn geared towards the marketing managers at these big companies to help them understand why they need to be connecting to youth right now. And you're the guy who's going to teach them how to do it. So that then I want to sponsor your videos and I want to send you on a national speaking tour.
My challenge that I have with LinkedIn is because I represent a couple of brands, and I'm in a contract, especially with LinkedIn. So I have a social contract with a national brand, and all of my content is has to be geared towards that particular. But that doesn't say that I can't use Sales Navigator to reach out. And then
wait. All of your personal content has to be about this other brand?
Yes.
Wow. How long does that deal last?
For right now, for the first year, and then we can kind of go from there. But
do you have an audience on LinkedIn? Like, why are they?
I got the brand because I had a major audience. I had a pretty big audience. All my writing, I actually took all of my content from LinkedIn and then moved it over to Instagram because there's nothing against being on Instagram or YouTube. Just what we're doing right now has to be specifically in LinkedIn. I have to push this specific brand. So, which is I'm completely fine with because that was part of the agreement, and I believe in the brand as well.
What kind of content are you talking about then on LinkedIn? What are you talking like? What kind of articles are you writing or posts are you creating?
I basically just push the brand. I'm like a brand ambassador. I curate all the content for the company page, but I also reach out and try to build followers for the specific company. So I'm already kind of in that way, but I don't think it should hurt me too much because I can still reach out. I have a lot of connections. I used to speak in schools a while back, so I still have a lot of connections within the school. But so I know how to get into schools. I know how to speak in it. I could get a speaking engagement tomorrow in a school with the connections that I have. The challenge is I just want to make sure that I have the right platforms in place so that when I go in, I can lead them.
I'm not worried about that. I want you to change who you're connected to be the marketing managers at these companies. I want you to get hired to go speak at these schools.
Yeah.
I want them to pay you to put on a tour, even if it's a little like, where do you live? Are you in Boston area?
New York.
New York area. Okay, so like, how many schools are in New York? Like
so many.
Tons. Like you don't even have to leave the state.
Nope.
speaking tour of New York, not even like tri-state, just speaking tour of whatever, speaking tour of Manhattan. There's tons of schools, and get paid to do that. So that I've got a message for graduating students, right, for their last year, and I help them find clarity. And I want you to be the company associated with them finding clarity in their life. This is a good play for you, right? This is pitch to the brand. And here's what I do. I go in and I do a 2-hour assembly or an hour assembly or whatever. And then we follow up with marketing materials or like guides, or you have some kind of assessment or whatever, PDFs that they can then use. And it's brought to you by Coca-Cola. And I want Coca-Cola to pay you $50K to go off and do these speaking gigs. So to do that, I know you can get into the schools. That's easy. I mean, that's not easy, but it's easy for you because you know what you're doing. You already have a speaking role. You've already done it so many times. I need you to connect to the marketing managers at these big brands and hit them with content that is relevant to things that they care about. Like everybody's trying to figure out that's a good demo. How do I get those 14 to 19-year-olds? It's a good demo to be going after. They don't know necessarily how to do it. Here's a cool opportunity to help them.
They don't teach it in schools. They don't teach it in schools. You know, they teach them other things, but they don't teach this. They don't teach what Tony Robbins teaches and what Cardone teaches, what you teach. They don't teach that stuff in school, you know. And I have the content very similar to what you do with your content and be able to push it out.
But here's like Coca-Cola and like anybody who's advertising on the social media platforms, like who's taking out campaigns on TikTok, for example, like those are the advertisers who will be potentially interested in what you're doing. To say, hey, instead of advertising on YouTube, you should hire me to go in and do the speaking tour so that your audience of 14 to 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds is something that Coca-Cola cares a lot about. And instead of it just being a commercial, now they're attached to somebody who's actually making these kids' lives better in a meaningful way, right? Because the kids are going to get tons of value from your speech, from the materials and just the hope and belief and the 3Ds that you're going to inject into them. And a company will pay for that goodwill, just like they would sponsor, you know, a Twitch stream, or they'll sponsor the Yankees. You know, same thing. I want them to sponsor you.
Could I do you envision getting multiple sponsors, so I'm not tied down to one? So, like, let's say Coca-Cola, IBM, you know, Nike. Do you envision that would be a possibility? Not a possibility, but would that be the strategy? Or would I go after one company?
Well, usually at the beginning, you have to test the waters, right? So don't worry about getting 10 sponsors. Go get one. As you scale and grow, then what you do is have different products attached to different companies. So, in sports, you could have the State Farm analyst desk. So when the analysts are talking about something, it's brought to you by State Farm. But then there's the highlight of the day brought to you by Coca-Cola, right? So like your speech to graduates of high school is sponsored by Nike. And then your grade 9 product where you go in and welcome people to high school is brought to you by somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't stress out though about having too many sponsors, because at the beginning you just got to go get one that's willing to pay you to go into the schools and do it. But that's like those people are on LinkedIn. And you can do Navigator to go off and reach them.
Yeah.
Definitely, and pitch them. But LinkedIn is a great organic platform as well, where if you're posting about how brands can connect with high school students, you become, like, I don't know anybody who's talking about that. You become the guy who's talking about that. And then people from brands will message you to say, hey, we're trying to launch a campaign. Maybe you get a consulting gig to do it. I don't know if you want to do that, like help other brands figure out how to connect to high school students, or they have you be the guy who goes in and does his program, right? And you get paid to do it. Yeah,
because my intention is to make sure that I want to help these kids out. You know, I want to help them be able to get, and especially with Coca-Cola. If let's say you want to be an artist. There's a spot for that in Coca-Cola. There's graphic design department. There's, so you can pursue your passion in any company that you work for. You don't necessarily have to be an entrepreneur. You can do an entrepreneur, because I'm an entrepreneur and I have my own business. So you can do that path as well. So just trying to figure out the angle there I want to make sure I'm able to impact these kids, these students rather, so that they can take these mindsets that I've been taught throughout my whole life and be able to apply it for any passion that they have.
Well, you already have the content. You already know what you want to go in and talk about. You've done that for a long time already. You're not trying to figure out what is your message, right?
Right.
You have your message.
Just trying to figure out how to amplify it.
You need the business and distribution model around the message.
Okay.
Like if Coca-Cola comes in and says, "Hey, you know what, Joshua? I don't know, 3Ds. Can you talk about this instead?" He's like, "No, man. Like this is what I talk about.
It's what I talk about. Yeah.
I know what I'm talking. I know that I have a good message that will impact the students, right? So you don't need to sacrifice on that. What you need is the business model to get paid, which the corporate sponsorship is your fastest path. And then you need the distribution, which is schools, but also content, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So TikTok and YouTube is just to build up awareness. Like the more of a brand that you have on these platforms, the more that these kids know you, the more that when you're going into the school, people already have a sense of who you are. I've never heard of this guy before. Like you can have schools, you can have your audience of high school kids even petitioning their school to say, "Hey, bring in Joshua. We want this guy to come and speak at our next event," because you've been building up this following. And same thing on YouTube, although YouTube's a longer play. But you've been doing this for how long? Like when did you start doing this?
I started speaking in school probably 10 years ago. Okay. And then I decided to take my own advice and I started my own business. So I started everything I was teaching them, I just applied to myself, and then I started my own business. So now now that I have it, now I want to go back and say, listen, this is what I was able to accomplish. I want you to be able to do the same thing. Because that's always been my passion. My one word is inspire. So I want to inspire I want them to have the same thing and not necessarily have to go through what I went through. I want them to get it early. I want to get them early so they can start building this mindset. Yep.
Yeah. So YouTube is a smart play for you. Like if you said, I don't want to be doing this 6 months later, I'm going to do something else, then YouTube is too long-term a strategy for it to pay off for you. But this is you'll be 90 and still want to go into high schools and teach. You'll be wheeled in on your wheelchair and just still speaking. So it's great.
Write books like Peter Drucker, man. Just keep writing going. Books. Yeah.
So YouTube is the long-term play. TikTok is the du jour right now, trending hot specifically for your audience. So that's where you need to go build your platform. And LinkedIn, I try to find a way. You can use Sales Navigator as a hack. Like I would try to think, what is could you get 20 schools right now if you could you do a 20 school speaking tour? So I start to put like a product together. So like TikTok, YouTube, daily content, or as much as you can actually put out. TikTok for sure, daily. It's just like 1-minute videos, bits of wisdom and motivation. YouTube long form content, 10 minutes plus, evergreen advice that in 5 years will still be relevant. That's going to help build your youth audience. People know your name. For LinkedIn, if we can't make content, then I'm off pitching a 20 school tour. Like what would that look like? You go into a school and talk for how long?
45. Usually most assemblies are about 30, 45 minutes. So sometimes an hour, depends on if it's a teaching conference, because I also want to help teachers with that as well, but that's more down the ride. But 45 minutes, usually 30, 45 minutes.
Okay. And so if I'm Coca-Cola, what do I get out of it? You're going to go and speak. How can you brand me? How can you involve me in your tour?
I can involve Coca-Cola because no matter what their passion is, they can find it with your company. So it doesn't matter what it is. So you have all these young, fresh minds that are just ready to enter into the program that I had originally was Future Force 3D. That was my original program. And I wanted to focus, and that's where their potential fresh minds that they can, life hasn't hardened them yet. They're like clay. You can mold them to take that career path towards the company, and then focus on case studies. So Coca-Cola, they have case studies of people that started off when they were, when they were 16, and now they're, the chief marketing officer of the company, or somebody that's the chief design officer or something. Find those case studies that each company has so that we can show these kids that this is where they can go.
Cool. So
opportunities.
Yeah. So it's usually, brand placement, which is inside of the content. So if you're talking for 45 minutes, how can you, like, hey, I'm drinking this Starbucks cup, right? Like, Starbucks didn't pay me for this, but this is brand placement, right? Like every time I hold this up and take a drink, I'm promoting Starbucks, right? You've got my book there behind you, right? Or was there, right? Like that's brand placement. So the brand placement, there it is. The brand placement in your speech is inside the 45 minutes. Can you tell it's content now? So can you tell an inspiring story of somebody at the company? So Coca-Cola using our model. Can you tell an inspiring story of somebody at Coca-Cola that I can learn from as a high school student?
I'm gonna have to go after Nike because I don't know if I can push Coca-Cola.
Great, let's do Nike. And like, you may not get either of those two, but somebody like there's lots of companies, right? And
or the brand that I represent, or that could be my first sponsor, the brand that I represent on LinkedIn, and maybe because of what I'm pushing, they can sponsor me, and then I can end up be able to hack LinkedIn to be able to push that because I'm sponsoring their company.
That's the entrepreneurial thinking. I love it. So, company that you're working with, is there an inspiring story from the founder, from a graphic designer, from anybody in that company that relates? It still's got to be your 3D, right? Like the 3Ds have to be there, but storytelling to bring home the point of the 3Ds is always important for any speech that you're doing. So can you tell the story of somebody at that company?
Yeah.
It still feels authentic and right and real and a great learning lesson. And you should be able to, right? I mean, if the company you're working with or Nike or whoever, and if it doesn't feel right, like I hate Coca-Cola, great. Like you hate Starbucks, awesome. Never show them, great. Like there's lots of companies. You only got to find one, right?
Just one.
And then, so that's the product placement. But then it's also kind of brought to you by. So this session is brought to you by whoever. This session is brought to you by Nike. And if there's any takeaways, if there's any PDFs, if there's any online resources afterwards, then there's, logo placement that when I go to that website, I'll see Nike, I'll see it's sponsored by Nike. If you're standing at the front and you've got like a poster behind you or something, or a sign, it's like your name, 3D speech brought to you by Nike. So like think about where their brand or their logos can be. And if you can already go off and get 20 schools, then you just pitch that as a product. I'm going to go in and talk about this to impact the lives of however many students show up, like 1,000 students at these 20 schools. And this is my pilot project. I'd like for it to be brought to you by you. Are you interested? Like, what would you need to see? The company you're working with now could be a great, like, soft run test because you've already worked with them and they already know you. But then if they say no, great. If they say yes, then you do it. You got your first, you're speaking tour now. You got it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And if they say no, then you use Sales Navigator on LinkedIn to go pitch other marketing managers who you like their company. You may not know who they are, but you like their company. You like what they stand for. You feel totally fine. You're not pitching them, but you're it's not like you have to go buy Nike sneakers, everybody, but you're comfortable being in bed with them as a sponsor for what you're doing. And then you just reach out and you'll find a sponsor.
And nothing with IG. If you were to add a fourth thing, nothing with IG that can be utilized here.
If you want to add a fourth, IG would be my fourth. But I think I think number one should just be LinkedIn. Like I think you already know how to get in front of the students. You just need to get paid to do it. Like if somebody was going to pay you $50K to go talk to schools, you do it without even building up an audience. So that's you already have like you don't have to go the long route of building a YouTube channel. You already have the expertise. You've already done this before. You already have content that works. All you need is a sponsor. So just go find a sponsor, right? After that, then it'd be looking at TikTok, number 2, YouTube, number 3, and IG as a distant 4th. So if you say, hey, I have unlimited time, give me everything, that's what I would do. But
no, I don't have. That's why I asked for 3, because I don't have unlimited time. And really, for me, it's really not about the money, although that's going to be the benefit from it. This is what I want to do, and I love what I do right now with my businesses. Right now, the businesses are kind of just managing itself, so I can really focus on this passion project that I have to get back into it. And
ideally, you're making, like, you launch your tour, you get sponsored for the tour, and then the money you make from that, you hire somebody on your team to now help you build out content for TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram.
The team that I already had, pretty much.
Well, but like then you hire somebody new. Like you have, you get paid from the tour to then invest into the team to then help you build and scale this new personal brand business.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.